Hello everyone, this is Season of 992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and as we edge closer to yet another weekend, another game of football is coming round, and as we are so late in to the season, these big games, these cup final feels, if you want, just start getting more and more scarier, engaging by the opposition and the success they've had this season versus the old firm and the fact that they are pretty much the ultimate Scottish football test. It really could be at the final weekend. But of course we know why we're here. We're here to talk about that game and really get to the old noots and crannies. We're going to be looking at the opposition. We're going to be talking about the Rangers end, which has a massive talking point, including an absentee from training. Is it going to be the spell of that Rangers player? But we'll get into all that. I want to pull the leash back and again focus on the opposition first, which is always going to be the mentality of these Rangers players. So there's no the distractions, none of this, just on the opposition. So let's lead by example and go ahead and look at them. Then shall we? And as we do, go ahead and talk about it. Now, if you don't mind hitting that like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Or if you can help subscribe to the channel to help us try to reach the 70k dream, that would be absolutely sensational. But let's go ahead and talk about Kilmarnock, who at my current time of recording are sitting 4th in the old SPFL, and given what's left in the actual season, how they're playing and how the other teams around them are actually playing, that's probably where they're going to end up, as they're 8 points clear of St Mirren, but fall a whopping 11 points behind Hearts. But if you stay towards the Rangers side of today's video, you'll hear, despite the fact that there is such a massive point differential, I'm looking you right in the eyes right now and telling you this Kilmarnock side, this side that we face this weekend, is the second hardest test we've got left in our season. I truly believe that, despite where they are in the league and despite the point differential from Hearts and Kilmarnock. And that's a real credit to this Kilmarnock side, the players that they've got, and obviously the manager Derek McInnes, who is operating on a shoestring budget, so is having to shop in the old clearance aisle and pick up players that, dare I say, are almost misfits or grafters. I'm not sure on the correct term that wouldn't offend any of these players, but you know who they are. They're sort of players that's been deemed not good enough at other clubs, or maybe not took their opportunities, or not been given opportunities elsewhere in some cases, and he's went and picked players with the right attitude, with the right mentality, and put them into a side and say, right lads, this is who we're going to be. We're going to be the grafting side. We are going to be the side that nobody wants to actually play, and that's sort of how I feel when I think about this Kilmarnock side. I'm sure you'll be thinking the exact same. You know, when you boo a player, or if you've got hatred for it, it's usually because they've got a wee bit of something about them, and it's the same for teams. The reason you hate them is because they've got something about them, and I can guarantee you there's not many teams or many supporters of teams in this country that look forward to playing this Kilmarnock side. And do you know why? Because they're a pain in the arse, ladies and gentlemen. They graft and fight for every single ball, and they really make you earn it. And that mentality and that approach that Derek McInnes has installed in these players, bringing those like-minded individuals, is why a team that finished 3rd bottom and was a real threat for relegation last season has flipped their side completely and now sit 4th and get in European football. And I know that might be boring to some people, but that transition and the improvements is really interesting to me, and it's something that I like to look at and see what's actually been done. And there's a clear pattern in the type of mentalities and players that Derek McInnes is bringing in to the football club. They might not be the biggest names that they could probably get or the fanciest this, but they're all hard working, and it just works when you see them as everyone plays to that actual standard. And what I find even more interesting, if you look at this Kilmarnock side now to where they were last season, is, do you know they've only won 2 more games this season than they did last season, yet they finished 3rd bottom. Now I know there's a couple games left, but only 2 a difference, which tells you that, well, maybe it can tell you the SPFL isn't that great this season, and that's fair if you think of that. But for me, I like to look at where the points are actually coming from. Where is it? If there's only 2 wins separating them from there, what is happening with this team, and why has it changed so drastically in the space of a year? And for me, that's quite clearly in the loss column, troops. I mean, the season before, Kilmarnock had lost 20 league matches. Again, they were in and amongst that dogfight of relegation pretty much for the first week to the last. This season, if you look at what they've done, they have tidied that up completely with just 8 losses in the league so far. That is a tremendous turnaround. They have the 3rd best in terms of losses this season, if you know what I mean. It goes Celtic, Rangers, then Kilmarnock. They've lost 8 times this year. Do you know how many we've lost? And we are in a title race. 6. That's so damn impressive, and that's where the change been for this Kilmarnock side. They've stopped throwing away games, they've stopped being silly in certain moments of the game, losing late goals, getting beat here, maybe beating themselves. They've just turned themselves into a grinding animal that, yeah, probably pick up more draws than they actually should do. But again, that's when you start looking at the wee added bit of quality. That's not really what they go to get. They get the grafters and the fighters. They've got 12 draws this season. But again, you look at the points, you look at that, and it tells you everything you need to know about this Kilmarnock side. They're hard working and a pain in the jacksie. But I know not many people give much stock in the rest of the league or care that much or think it's absolutely dreadful, and that's fair enough. If you think that, if you just want to get some plot points, if you just want some hard-hitting facts about how tough this Kilmarnock side is to actually play, let's look at the Old Firm versus Kilmarnock this season then, shall we? Looking at both teams, Rangers and Celtic versus Kilmarnock, with the resources, the massive differences in resources. The Old Firm's played Kilmarnock 7 times so far this season going in to this weekend. Do you know how many times the Old Firms beat Kilmarnock this season? Just 3 of the 7. That there is an incredible statistic to have it with any other team in this league, especially the likes of Kilmarnock, given where they were not too long ago. Now granted, it is a little bit more one-sided in terms of our favour. If we played Kilmarnock just 3 times this season, we have a positive win ratio, having 2 wins and 1 loss. One of the wins, by the way, being a couple of months ago at Rugby Park, where I thought, there, we've got San and our boss, we're going to go ahead and do this with the league. Then we shut the bed less than a month later, and obviously the loss was the first game of the season where all of our eyes opened and went, oh no, son, isn't he right here? But if you want to look at how Celtic have done and given what they are and everything like that and what they have been able to do and what they've done versus us, Celtic have only 1 win this season. 1 win, ladies and gentlemen, versus Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock's got a better win ratio versus Celtic than us, and that is damn worrying. In fact, if we had the win percentage that Kilmarnock's got versus Celtic this season, we'd be clear at the top, as Kilmarnock's beat them twice, including knocking them out of a cup, getting a draw versus at Parkhead. Sorry, they also lost 1 game earlier on the season, 3-1 at Parkhead. So it shows you when the lights get brightest, this team could turn up. And it's why I said earlier on in the video, this for me is our second biggest test left, and arguably the biggest test that the old Scottish football motif has left to offer. And that actually gives us the perfect transition away from the Kilmarnock end and getting to the Rangers end. And I want to pick up and really back up and try and explain why I'm saying what I'm saying, because if you look at it, the top 4 is playing each other this weekend. Obviously, Hearts play Celtic and we play Kilmarnock, right? That's the way it's actually gone this season, and despite on paper and obviously statistically this season Kilmarnock being the worst out of the 4, this is the truest Scottish football challenge that we have got left. And for me, the type of game that if you want to be lifting silverware and if you want to be calling yourself a champion when it's all said and done, it's this test, it's this game, it's this opposition that you need to be able to overcome and go ahead and win, ladies and gentlemen, because it's a team like that, scrappers and fighters, that's kicking every single ball, that's put us in a wee bit of the hole we've had recently. This exact same type of test that we failed versus Motherwell and we failed versus Ross County. It's the exact same mentality. Now, you look at Hearts and everything like that, and I know they're 11 points clear of Kilmarnock, they're much better than everything like that. I get what people will say about that, but Hearts match up very well to us because they've got an attacking style that allows us gaps that the Kilmarnocks, the Motherwells, the Ross Counties didn't actually give us. You know what I mean? When we've actually got to take it to the next level and be creative and play at a higher speed, we've came unstuck over the last couple of months. Hearts have given us some of our best performances because of the space that we've been able to create, and obviously Celtic are the biggest challenge left in the season. There's no more saying about that, but Celtic and Rangers, the Old Firm transcends Scottish football, so that's why I look at it and I look at the likes of Kilmarnock, what we've got left and what the other top 6 actually is, why it is the biggest test, because it's the closest we'll come to facing the likes of Ross County and Motherwell. Again, it's the same approach, it's the same mentality that's haunted us, and it's the exact thing we need to get over and conquer and have players step up and take the opportunities and create the gap that's not going to be easily given to them this weekend. And again, as I said right at the start of today's video, it could be a season-defining performance or season-defining game, because if we play as badly as we did versus St Mirren, we could be really punished. If we play as badly as Motherwell and Ross County, then you need me to actually say, this is the game now. There isn't any tomorrow. You've got to just step up and play now, and we'll find out if they've got anything, ladies and gentlemen. It could all come crashing down tomorrow, or we could live to fight another day, and who knows what happens to the rest of the old weekend. But I want to move away from my thoughts on the game, because again, saying must win and all that, we know all that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the latest Rangers team news then, shall we? We found out big Connor Goldson wasn't in training, and it got everybody speculating and talking, and then Phil Clement in his presser came out and said he's hurt his knee and he won't be back for the rest of the season, but we will see him in pre-season. Now, call me a sceptic, if you will. I just know 100% sure on that, you know what I mean? We could really see the end of Connor Goldson's career, and that would have been his last game. I guess we'll find out over the next couple of months, but for anyone wondering if Connor Goldson's going to be coming back during the run-in, no. We are Suter and Balogun, and that is it. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Do you believe that partnership there is good enough to get us over the edge, to go to Parkhead, to play Hearts, to beat a Kilmarnock side? Is that centre-back partnership, good enough to overcome that? Does it leave you a little bit nervous? And the question now needs to be asked, if Connor Goldson definitely is done for the season, are we now going to take Balogun, who's playing right centre-back, out of position, and John Suter, left centre-back, who's playing out of position? Are we going to do this for the rest of the season, or are we? I don't know. I guess we'll find out this weekend. But that is your update in terms of Connor Goldson. The other one we need to talk about is Ridvan is a maybe for Sunday. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing 50-50s for Ridvan anymore, because I've done it 28 days ago and he's still not been seen since. So aye, there's your update on Ridvan. He's a maybe, so you care what that means. We'll see him next October. Jacko isn't available for the game, but the rest of the teams remains the exact same as it was versus St Mirren, and I think it will be a similar setup again. We need to see a much better performance, especially from the first half, but we know what to expect. We'll be facing an 11 that will be hungry and fighting and giving everything for the badge that's on their chest. Will we have the same? If we do, we'll win the game. If we didn't, we could throw it all away, ladies and gentlemen. But that's my thoughts and opinions. Call me a blinding, blue tinted specky guy if you want, troops. But aye, I'm just gonna go with a random scoreline here that will sound ridiculous, and it'll probably never be this. But Rangers 3, Kilmarnock 0. Yeah, I'm saying it. I don't know why, because it should just be 1-0, and it probably will finish 1-0 to Rangers, but that's what I'm going with, ladies and gentlemen. Dessers to be the difference again. You've heard it right here first, and hopefully that's the case. But what about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the game, on the team, on the mentality, and Connor Goldson being out. How much of a blow that is to a season, or as the season just passed them by, as again, it did look like it actually did. Let me know down in the comment section below, and as always, I will see you Sunday afternoon. Take care of yourselves, everyone. I've been Saging Over 92. Enjoy your weekend. All the best, and bye-bye.